Hello from Paris, from Paris. How are you? Welcome. How did we get here, folks? So it is currently April. In my last video, I was in San Francisco, and that was towards the end of March. I have not worked since then. And as I explained to you in that video, I've been able to drop my trips over the last several months. And since that trip, I've been able to drop my trips. I had Paris this week and I have London next week. All the other trips that I had on my line for the month of April were domestic trips. I believe it was, I don't even remember, honestly, because as soon as I got them, I dropped them just as fast. And I was initially supposed to have this trip tomorrow, well, today. So initially this trip for me was on Friday. I was supposed to leave, but one of my girlfriends was on the Thursday trip. So for the past month or so, I've been trying to get on the trip with her and I was unable to swap. And then last minute, Thursday morning, someone reached out, do you want to swap your trip tomorrow for the Paris tonight? And at that point, mentally, I'm just not prepared because I'm thinking I'm going to Paris the next day. So I ended up swapping with that person last minute. So I had to throw my life together in a rush, even though I had 8 whole hours basically to get ready. But mentally, I was not prepared to go to work that night. But anyway, I went, we're here, right? Boom. It's about 5 o'clock in Paris now. We landed, gonna get ready because I'm supposed to be meeting my friend. We landed in Paris around 12 something, got to the hotel around 1:30. The flight. I had a medical, y'all. My first medical, my first real medical. I've had medicals before. I wouldn't consider the medicals that I've experienced major, or if there was a medical, I wasn't involved. I was galley. Hello, first of all, let's
rewind that back.
I was galley, and you may or may not know I don't like doing galley because my experiences in the past when I was stuck as galley weren't the best, and it put a sour taste in my mouth, which a lot of people have experienced, and I was just like, I'm not dealing with this. So whenever I had the opportunity to choose my position, I would choose everything but this trip, like I said, one of my girlfriends, she's on it. She was the purser, so I'm like, you know what, I want to be upfront with her, obviously, and talk and whatnot. So I decided to work the galley. And galley is also one of those positions I know once I get it down, I'm gonna love it. That's gonna be the only position I want to work. I know that it's just a matter of having the purser that's going to be patient with me while I'm learning. But anyway, I'm in the galley about to go down to crew rest, and I hear the bell, like the flight attendant bell that's going ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, what is going on? But throughout the flight, it was dinging randomly. And whenever I would look, nothing was happening. But this particular moment, it was like an excessive back-to-back. I looked down the aisle and I saw like a little bit of commotion, but it's a night flight. It's dark. I can't see. So I'm looking, and then I step into the aisle. And as I'm stepping into the aisle, I see like a passenger going, can you come? So I like run over. I see another flight attendant with this elderly woman. And she's like trying to like hold her up, and she's like, are you okay? What's your name? The elderly lady, she's like kind of like, just not standing up still, kind of wobbly. But she helped her sit. She still talking to her, asking her like how she's feeling, what's going on, what happened. And at some point the lady before that, the lady was kind of like mumbling a few words. But then at this point, she just didn't say anything. And she was just sitting on the chair. She's kind of slumped over and she's not responding. So she's like, ma'am, miss, calling, trying to get her attention, and nothing. So I run to the front to tell the flight leader, my friend, to let her know to call the captain. I page for a medical assistant, doctor, nurse, if they can come up, a nurse practitioner, a pediatrician, and an emergency room doctor. All on the flight. So they came. So the emergency room doctor's there. So at this point, he took over. We go get all the bags that we need for medical. We get oxygen, and they're trying to administer the oxygen. They're doing her blood pressure. At this point, she's alert and she's speaking. She's in Comfort Plus. So they're like, let's move her to open seat in first class. and that seat lays flat and she can lay down and they can elevate her legs, because that's at this point what the doctor is saying. Like her blood pressure is low, she needs her legs to be elevated. It's a few of us. It's the flight attendant who was first on the scene. It's the emergency room doctor, the purser. I think she's on the phone with the captain. B, the purser in the back in the main cabin, she's there as well, doing something. And then I'm there. So everybody's doing something, but it was a lot going on. It's a tight space. We're in the aisle. So we're moving her up. And at a point, I'm going back and forth between them, the patient, and then the purser to relay information back and forth. So as I'm coming back, they're, slowly making their way up to the front. And then we get to the galley and she kind of like stops and she's looking like she's about to go down, and the doctor's like, no, put her down, lay her out right here, her pressure's dropping, lay her out. So she's laid out in the galley and he's like holding her legs up, talking to her, and it was just a lot going on, child. It was a lot, but it wasn't hectic, it was a lot going on. Everybody had their own thing to do, but at the same time it wasn't like chaos. It was very controlled. And, shout out to the crew, because whoever was there, they played a part and was calm. And it just, you would have, I'm sure half the people did not know what was going on, which is amazing. That's what you want. You don't want to disturb anyone else's flight. And you want to provide this person with care and attention that they need to make sure that they stay alive, right? So it was just, looking back, it was just like, wow, crew coordination, amazing. So the doctor's holding her legs, but he's still needing to go and assist her. I come and grab her legs. I'm holding her legs up, and the doctor is saying he wants to do an IV. This is where I say it gets my first real medical, because we have different medical bags in the flight. I've had to grab those and maybe have them ready, but never had to actually use something out of it. And not a damn IV, okay? Not a whole IV on a flight. Passengers basically I don't want to do an IV if EMT are gonna have to come on a plane. Either way, somebody's meeting us. But if we do this IV, then it's just a different step, basically, of what they have to do when they get here for you. And she's basically nah, if I gotta do IV, don't do it, because I don't want to be in the hospital here. I'm going to meet my friends. I don't want to be late. I'm like, ma'am, you have a whole bottle of oxygen strapped to your face right now. You were unresponsive at a point. I'm gonna need you to not care about where you go to the hospital and what time you're meeting your friends. Okay? So they're talking her through it and explaining the different steps and what they need to do. So she finally agrees to do the IV. It's looking like an emergency room. They're busting things out the bag. Somebody's holding the IV drip up. He's getting a needle, putting a needle in, all on the galley floor. Then she has to use the bathroom. Use the bathroom. And the doctor's like, I don't think that's a good idea. Because if you go into the bathroom by yourself and you pass out with the door closed, I don't think that's good. Or if you're sitting on the toilet doing what you do, straining may cause you to also pass out. So I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe you should try to wait. We can't tell this patient she can't. And then they're on the phone with the medical team. And the medical team is like, well, if she has to go, she has to go. You just have to, take the oxygen with her, make sure she keeps the oxygen on. So now we have to get her up, get her to the bathroom. And we have to pass her through first class with the oxygen tank, her IV. She gets in the bathroom, they leave the door cracked. Ultimately, she was fine. Paramedics met the flight. She walked off. She went with the paramedics, but she didn't have to go out on a stretcher or anything. She willingly got up, stood up, grabbed her luggage, and walked off the plane. You would have never known all of that happened, seeing her at the end of the flight, walking off with her rollerboard. What? But whatever. Nobody died, thank God. But, it was a lot in the sense of, if there was a whole IV being administered in the middle of the flight, with oxygen. So that was my little medical story. But anyway, that was a lot. I know, just drop that on you. I'm gonna go. So I'm still waiting to hear back from my friend. It's almost 6, about 15 minutes to 6. Haven't heard back from her yet. She's definitely probably still asleep. So I'm gonna give her a few more minutes. I do need to run an errand from one of my friends, so I guess I can do that while I'm waiting for her. My friend ended up hitting me up as I was walking out the hotel. So we headed over to the mall to try to pick up a package for my friend back at home. Unfortunately, the mall security would not let us in because it was about 20 minutes before closing. From there, we headed over to get something to eat. We had to take the Paris Metro, which is also another first for me. If you know me, your girl will hop in an Uber with no hesitation to get around the city. This is a local restaurant that my friend goes to where I tried escargot for the first time. And to my surprise, I actually really enjoyed it. It reminded me of mussels. So if you're into mussels, you may also probably be into escargot. Just kind of hold it. Don't squeeze the top, because if you squeeze the top, then you're gonna slip the shell. When you get it under, just hold it kind of light, and then you use this hand to get the snail out. Because it's all up in, it's in deep in this there. This is the snail. Oh. Yeah, and then just right there, pesto. The night was still young, and we were not ready to go back to the room yet, so we went and had a couple cocktails. I'm not responsible for this night. Once that bar closed, we headed to a lounge and sat around and talked until the wee hours. 4 in the morning. Okay.
Okay. It's to the left. It's to the left. It's to the right. It's to the left. It's to the left. It's to the left. It's to the left. Sis, it's to the left.
To the
but
left.
I can't put it in my phone.
What's to the left?
The hotel.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna just walk there.
Yep. It's a beautiful night.
It's a beautiful night.
It is 6 o'clock in the morning. Let me show you. My friend and I had such a good time. I feel like literally every time we hang out, it's just always the same routine. We get together, we have a cocktail, and we just laugh and kiki the entire night. Pickup is at 12, which is like, okay, it's a good amount of sleep. Somewhat, right? However, I only slept for about 2 hours when I got in. And then in the morning, I have to run an errand for one of my best friends. I have to now try to go to the mall when it opens. It opens at 10 to be back here for pickup at 12. Sounds doable, right? But it was like a 20-minute drive. So that's 40 minutes there and back, plus the time I need to spend in a store to pick up whatever I need to pick up. I don't want to think about it. I need to go to sleep. Anyway, today was a great day. Always fun flying with friends. I'll check back in at some point. We did it. Mission check accomplished. OMG. And yes, I have one of the same clothes as yesterday. It is 10:40 in the morning. Woke up at 9:15. All for this. I got it. I cannot believe myself. I'm proud of myself, you know? I came here, one, to enjoy my layover and my trip with one of my friends, but with knowing that I knew I had to come here to pick something up for my best friend. I think I already said, but we got to the mall yesterday, they wouldn't let us in. And I'm just like, oh my God, my girlfriend's gonna kill me. How am I coming back home without her item? But whatever. I'm proud of myself for getting up, because at one point I was just like, you know, I'm gonna have to come back. But anyway, I did it. I need to go get myself together to work this trip back home. So I'm working in the back today in main cabin. I'm on first break, thank God. I'm just like, wow. I amaze myself sometimes. I'm so proud of myself. Hopefully I'll see you later in this video. Probably not, just because it's going to be busy, and you know the deal. Can't really record so much on the aircraft, especially with TOs. It's just a lot of motion. It's a lot going on. If I can, I definitely will, but if not, thank you for watching. If you like this type of content, if you like being nosy like me and seeing what the real life of a flight attendant is like during layovers, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, say hello, say hi, let me know what it is that you like about flight attendant vlogs and what you would like to see more of. Subscribe, okay? So I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.